So the controversial deal on Iran's nukes set to take effect 1 week from today. But critics are saying that the White House gave up too much in this deal, and now the Senate is pushing for even more sanctions against Iran. The White House is pushing back on that, saying, quote, imposing additional sanctions now will only risk derailing our efforts to resolve this issue peacefully. And I will veto any legislation enacting new sanctions during the negotiation. Those strong words from President Obama on this. Wyoming Republican Senator John Barrasso is a co-sponsor of this bill, and he joins me now. Senator, welcome. Good to have you here. The president's in a tough spot on this. I mean, he went out there, John Kerry went out there and negotiated what they thought was a really groundbreaking deal with Iran that they feel will move forward in the dialogue and eventually force Iran to basically disassemble any nuclear efforts that they have. You say absolutely not.
Well, I would say anybody that trusts Iran hasn't really been paying attention for the last 30 years. They cheat, they lie, and cannot be trusted. It is sanctions, tough sanctions, that actually drove Iran to this point. And I think that relieving sanctions is a terrible mistake. So we have a new sanctions bill in the Senate, 59 co-sponsors. It's obviously bipartisan, and we can get to the 67 we need to override a presidential veto.
Really? I mean, Bob Menendez is one of those senators who is against the president on this, and you believe that you've got a veto-proof majority on this bill.
We will get there. Martha, just over the years with President Obama, he has opposed every sanction bill that we have brought from the Senate. He argues, he lobbies against it. One even passed 100-0, and then he goes kicking and screaming to put the sanctions in place. It is the tough sanctions, Martha, that actually caused Iran to start to have these discussions.
What additional sanctions would you like to see put in place?
What we're saying is give Iran the 6 months that the president has asked for and give Secretary Kerry those opportunities, but basically distrust and verify so that if they don't comply with everything 6 months to the day, sanctions go into place, new, tougher sanctions. Not what the president wants is to say, well, if they're not complying, then we'll start talking about it again. I want Iran to know exactly what's going to happen with them in terms of their ability to trade oil. So you just want to link
a stronger punishment to this plan. So the plan would go forward as executed, right?
And a tougher timeline.
Yeah.
Because the president made his announcement in November that things were starting. Now we see, no, the 6 months isn't going to start until January 20th. Iran, they're masters at delay and deception. And I think we need to just do more.
Obviously, the White House is going to want nothing to do with this. You say that, you think you can get to a number that would force the president not to have a veto here. But they see this as a tremendous legacy issue for him, that he has brought Iran to the table and that we're going to start discussing the dismantling of this program. John Kerry, really laid his heart and soul into this as well. How's that going to work out?
I visited with Secretary Kerry about that in Israel a week ago. I think he knows that Iran can't be trusted. I think the president said it's just a 50-50 chance of working out. I don't even know if it's that good, but that's why I want these sanctions to go into place immediately if Iran doesn't comply, and the world needs to know that. Iran needs to know that, and I think that's the best way to protect us, because Iran is already using the agreement to their own advantage. They are continuing to do research and development on centrifuges, a new generation which can spin
So they've
faster.
shown no signs of halting their progress. You were just in Israel and you spoke with Benjamin Netanyahu. What is his take on the president at this point and this deal?
It seems that the relationship between Israel and the American president is more rocky than any time over the past 35 years. Obviously, people around the world are worried about a nuclear-armed Iran, and it just seems that the president is less committed to be real clear on his concerns. I just think that the president's too willing to try to give away things that he shouldn't. That's one way to put it. but I think you have to just take a look and see what Iran has been doing over the last 30 years to know they can't be trusted. And yet this agreement does nothing about weaponization, about warheads. And I think it allows Iran to get away with much too much. And I think it gives up much too much with the sanctions that are in place that drove them to the table in the first place. They're going to have $6 to $7 billion more dollars in a relief of sanctions. And I think it's just giving away too much.
Tense situation for the White House, and we're going to see how this vote goes. Senator, thank you. Good
Thanks.
to see you in New York as
Thanks,
always.
Martha.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.